Is it started?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Stephen Datz, Chair of the Awards Committee. We have a physical quorum represented by Stephen Datz, Ricky Erickson, and Hai Vu. We also have Joe Urbano and Blake Osner, which I don't believe has joined us yet, but Jenny, if you would announce him once he joins the WebEx, I'd appreciate it.
He just joined.
He just joined?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
He did. You're welcome.
Blake is filling in as a delegate for Laura Dutton. And again, Joe and Blake are joining us via WebEx. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Regina Ross, and Budget is represented by Stephanie Neely today. So before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll note that there isn't anyone physically present for public comment. Haley, did you receive any public comment via email?
No comments.
Okay, I'll pause for a moment for callers joining us on WebEx to unmute and speak up. Hearing no comments, we'll proceed with today's regular agenda. On today's agenda, we have items 1 through 3, 5 through 11, and 13 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. Note that items 4 and 12 have been deferred. These remaining items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee. Beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from the November 4th, 2021 Awards Committee meeting. Are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? Okay, hearing none, may I get a motion to approve award item 1 representing the minutes from the November 4th, 2021 Awards Committee meeting? And a second? Thank you. We have a motion from Hai Vu, second from Joe Urbano. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to walk us through each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 2.
Thank you. Through the chair, I do have a bit of a cold, so I'm probably going to ask some of my team members to jump in here or there to help support me today. But award number 2 is developer agreement. This is for our Southeast Quadrant Stillwood Pine Phase 1 Reclaimed Water Project. This is for Phase 1. The Royals Creek Community Development is the developer, and this is a cost participation agreement. I'd like if Todd Mackey or someone from the business is on, just kind of take us through the timeline here. The dates on the award seem a little off, so if you guys could take the committee through that, I think that would help us better understand why we're just bringing this to the committee and when that work starts for JEA.
Okay. Hey, Jenny, this is Todd. I'm trying to think where to start. The award was actually, or the work at the site was actually bid in 2020, just before COVID hit. And in talking with consulting engineers, once COVID hit, the developer paused the project for quite some time, almost a year before they got started again. And so they got started this spring, at which point we were negotiating with the developer for a master agreement that would allow JEA to install a 30-inch reclaim pipe through this project from north to south. In total, probably about 20,000 foot of pipe, and it'll probably take 5 to 10 years to install the whole pipe. This first phase is about 950 feet, give or take, of 30-inch pipe that was part of the initial work that was done at Stillwood. That pipe went in. We offered a cost participation agreement to the developer to sign off for that short piece, and he chose to just let's stick with the master agreement, which covers the whole project, and get that knocked out and signed off on. So in simple terms, the agreement was completed later in the summer, between August and September. It was executed, and so we're here today to wrap up this piece of the project. So that's the short story part of the timeline.
Okay, so has the work started on the JEA portion? Is this a ratification at all that we need to note?
The pipe is about in the ground, yes. The 950 feet or so pipe.
Okay. So have we paid the developer this amount yet?
I know we have not.
Okay. So Regina, I'll pass it to you. If you want us to put this amount down since the work has been done, we can add that to the ratification line and update the award.
Yeah, Jenny,
Or we can
you do
process
that?
as is.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, Todd. I think that helps clear up some of the questions that I had on the timing of when all of this happened. So that makes sense if we update it to show the ratification.
No problem, and fully understand. Let me know if you have any other questions.
And Jenny, this is Regina, can you confirm the amount again, please?
Sure. So the recommended awardee would go to the developer, Royals Creek Community Development, in the amount of $395,820.94.
Okay, so there was no change in the amount.
No, we'll put the total amount as the ratification since the work's been completed.
Okay, thank you.
So what the committee would be approving today is the ratification of the work that's already been performed by this developer. I will note that the pricing when the developer bid this out, we did receive 3 bids. Valancourt was the lowest bidder, and the amount for JEA was substantially lower than what our cost estimate was. So felt pretty good about, the group felt good about the costs and how those were bid out. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
Thank you for the background, Jenny. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, I'll pass it back to you.
All right. May I get a motion to approve award item 2 with amendments?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, second from Hai Vu. All those opposed? I mean, all those in favor, rather.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. Jenny, I'll pass it back over to you.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 3, this is a resend. This is for the cloud and on-prem backup restored licensing for JEA. We put this out to bid and we only received 2 bids. A little bit of background: historically, JEA has utilized the single source option as justification just due to limited resellers in the market. Recently, the market opened up to more resellers, and JEA decided to try to competitively bid this in October. At the time of opening, again, we only received 2 bids, and both of them were over our budget. And then I'll note also that our incumbent, who did not submit a bid. So we would like to request approval to rescind the solicitation, reject all bids, and anticipation of rebidding. I'll ask the committee if you guys have any questions or comments.
So,
All right,
Jenny, I have a question. The reason that we can do this is because that the incumbent at that point did not bid. Let's say if they bid, then we wouldn't be able to go back, right, and say, hey, we like the other numbers better. So we're gonna go with that.
So anytime we, want to try to increase competition, we tried pretty hard on the front end to get this competition up, extended it a couple of times before opening. Went ahead and decided to open, and then the pricing came in much higher than what we were expecting. So we always have the option to rescind and rebid if we think we can do something different or better from a pricing perspective. The resellers likely don't get the discounts that the incumbent would get. So we are anticipating that, the price will be much lower. And when we compare it to our current contract pricing, we know that This is at least, I think, Stephen, it was like 165,000 over what our current contract
budget.
pricing is.
Yeah, that's correct.
I don't know if you want to add any more, Stephen.
No, I think just based on the number of responses, knowing that this is 160,000+ over the original budget, we really felt like it was in our best interest to pause and put it back out for bid.
And Stephen and Jenny, this is Regina. Just to clarify, because I think in reading the way it was drafted here, just on the agenda, it's being, you're going to reject all bids in anticipation of rebidding the services. I think there was some confusion. Someone thought it was just rescinding to go award to go back, and that's not the case. You are actually going to rebid.
We are, yeah. So we updated the packet last night. We had some options we were talking through and settled on the rebid instead of a direct award to our incumbent.
Okay, thanks
We're
for
going to put it
clarifying.
back out. I'll pass it back to you, Stephen.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 3?
So moved.
And a second?
You rescinded it, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. I think I read the wrong one. I do second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, second from Hai Vu. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 5, since item 4 was deferred.
Yes. So award number 5 through the chair, the contract increase. This is for our tenant improvement design services for our new headquarters. We went out to bid. RS&H was selected as our company to work with. Originally, it was a little over $1 million. We have done one administrative increase to complete it was about a little under $60,000 for scope change due to modifications to the program space and personnel headcounts. And now we're coming back to the committee and asking for an increase to RS&H to provide additional funding for fees for the building interior lead, so the environmental and energy efficiency, and which is an employee and occupancy wellness focused certifications for the headquarters. The amount that we are asking for the increase is $70,000. The new not to exceed is still well within the budget estimate. So I will pause and see if Nancy wants to add anything to what I've already stated.
Thanks, Jenny. In the RS&H contract, we had them in the beginning in the original RFP and scope covered to do the lead and well design, but we were a little uneducated internally, so there are fees associated with those applications that RS&H will end up submitting and paying for us, one through a sub-consultant and one directly through their staff. So this is just to cover application and review fees for the lead and well programs, which are third-party organization certifications. And the amount here is a not to exceed. They're just going to do a straight pass-through of the actual cost they incur.
Thanks, Nancy. Does the committee have any questions? All right, I'll pass it back to you, Stephen, for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 5?
Order final, so moved.
And a second?
I do second.
Have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you. Through the chair, Ward 6 is deemed an emergency. This was for the Kennedy Generating Station Unit 7 startup transformer, which failed on October 16th of 2021. JEA did have a spare transformer at Westside that matched the voltage, but needed, it was not physically laid out the same, so JEA needed to modify the transformer to facilitate it working with the existing transformer layout, and some electrical construction work was being required to support the install. We do have continuing services contracts, but anything over $75,000 per our statute is required to be bid. And due to the emergency of the situation, we went ahead and worked with one of them. I believe Cogburn is one of our continuing services contracts. Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong. It was a little over that. 75,000 came in at $79,650. Rodney, I'll have you, if you want to take us through kind of the scope of work and any other details you want to add, that would be helpful.
Yeah, this is Rodney Lovgren here. So the startup transformer is basically essential to start that unit and utilize it and put it online. And after the failure, the engineering group, and I'm not sure if they're online, Brandy or Daryl, but they went through and evaluated the existing transformer. They had Cogburn basically already mobilized. They work for JEA all the time, so they're pretty much readily available. They walked through the job. They gave them the quote, and within a few days after that, we issued the purchase order to get them going, get materials. And so the construction, I believe, last I heard, was scheduled to be completed here the 19th, I think is what's in the award, to put it back online. And at that point, it'll be available again. But going through a formal bid process, advertising and putting online would have meant it would be sitting for a couple of months.
Hey, Rodney, this is Daryl. I'm online here, and you stated it correctly.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, guys. Any questions from the committee members? All right, I'll pass it back to you, Stephen, for a vote.
Okay. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
This is Ricky, so moved.
And a second?
I do second.
We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Award 7 through the chair is a proposal for byproducts environmental support services. So we're seeking a consultant surveyor to provide professional services for our byproducts environmental compliance support and marketing services. I won't read through all of the details of the types of work, but Meckling Engineer and Consulting Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $633,333.33. That is a tongue twister for sure, with all those threes. This is a 3-year award, and we have 2 one-year optional renewals. At the time of opening, we received 3 bids, and the approach submitted by Meckling was consistent and contained all the project elements, work scopes, which were scored highest of submitting companies. For the various deliverables that we were requesting, evaluating the resumes and the design approach for service, experience, proximity, Sorry. Rodney, will you take this for me?
Sure. So the Northside Generating Station, they typically do CCNA direct under $35,000 requests from different environmental firms to perform the work that they need. You know, whether it's testing, remediation, or any kind of monitoring they have to do on the site. That dollar amount, if you start aggregating the amount spent, it gets closer to about $100,000 a year. And so we elected to do a formal on it to get somebody in here for a few years. And we evaluated the typical CCNA RFP criteria. Mecklen was the highest. Rates wise, their average is 147. We forecast loaded the rates against the hours distribution for the forecast work that we have on an annualized basis, and it came out to about $124 an hour, which is kind of typical in the range for our environmental folks. It's a little bit cheaper than electrical engineering consulting. I'm not sure exactly how that compares to what our water, wastewater folks have, but we felt the pricing was reasonable.
Thanks, Rodney. Appreciate you jumping in. I'll pass it to the committee for any questions. Okay, I'll pass it back to you, Stephen, for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 7?
I move, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 8.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 8 is a request for proposal. This is for our furniture procurement, delivery, and service for the new headquarters. Prior to putting this out, we developed a qualified category list with furniture companies. We had 4 of them submit and qualify on the list. So we use that list as our basis of our bidders list when we put this out. When we put it out to that qualified list, there were 3 proposals that were received, with Purdue Inc. Being our recommended awardee in the amount of $1,327,101.95. This will be done in phases, and I think what I'll do is pass this to Nancy. This one was, we put a lot of thought and consideration into the way that we set this bid up to give JEA the most flexibility from a furniture perspective, and picking those and doing this in phases. So Nancy, if you don't mind, will you walk us through?
Sure. Thank you, Jenny. And this one was quite labor intensive from procurement team and the building and furniture team. We were, I think, very thoughtful about it with RS&H, the interior design firm Guidance. So we had 3 great firms on the list. They all produced a physical mock-up of the specified workstation design that RS&H had developed, sent us an offering of chairs, and they were rated across several categories. Purdue ended up being ranked number 1 across the various categories, and we have it set up to acquire in phases. Some of the furniture is long lead time because all of it is manufactured specifically for JEA to the specs, color, materials, etc. This first award is to get us the majority of our standard workstations, the bench workstations, and the standard office furniture. There are a couple of items that we are holding. They're noted on a summary sheet that we have as we're trying to finalize. We will come back with multiple additional awards. It could be from Purdue or some of the other 2 firms, so we've reserved the right to acquire for any of those, but we'll be acquiring conference room furniture, the collaboration furniture, and the balance of what we need. So this is the first award. The $2 million budget is inclusive of the additions that we did not specify on this particular award. to complete workstations and offices. So we think we're in good stance from a budget standpoint. And happy to answer any questions.
Hey, Nancy?
Yeah.
If we could scroll back up to the actual three companies bid, it looked like the bottom one was less. We chose Purdue over them for other reasons.
So, yes, we had a full evaluated RFP at this stage. It was quality, delivery time, shipping, and the company that was a lower amount did not offer what we had specified. They provided a different product than what we had asked for, and I think it was given a very fair evaluation by the team. But the team that was the evaluation team, which was our furniture development team, failed across the grading criteria that Purdue was a better option. It wasn't a price only, Ricky.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other questions for the committee members? All right, I'll pass it back to Stephen for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 8?
Joe Arpano, so moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Joe Arpano, second from Haibu. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 9.
Thank you through the chair. Award number 9 was an IFB. This was a bid for construction services for underground water, wastewater, and reuse grid repair and installation services. We're recommending to the committee 4 awards based off of the budget that we have and broken out into what we believe is, from a budget perspective, tiered it down based with low bid receiving the highest amount of the award, and from there tiering down, you'll see Callaway Contracting Inc. Recommended award amount is $2.5 million. TB Landmark Construction Inc. is $2 million. JB Coxwell Contracting Inc. is $2 million, and Petticoat Schmidt Civil Contractors Inc. is $1 million. This is for a 3-year term going through December 14th of 2024, and this is to help supplement JEA's water, wastewater crews performing both scheduled construction and emergency line work. We received 6 bids, and I'll just note that the unit prices submitted will be used. They're fixed for the 3-year term, and they'll be used when task orders are submitted to the companies when work is being requested. If JEA decides to issue any of the renewals, which there are 2 one-year optional renewals, CPI may apply at the time of authorization. I'm going to pause there and see if the business wants to add anything else or if the committee has any questions.
This is Justin Spencer out at Pearl Street. Jen has a good summary of what we've got on this request. And again, these projects are for work just to supplement our field crews. So if we have a manhole collapse or a sewer main that needs to be replaced, these would be the contractors we would reach to if our crews don't have the ability to incorporate that into their work schedule.
Thanks, Justin. We tried this. This is actually the second time we've bid this. We've had good luck putting this together for the water wastewater group. The last time we did this out was, I believe, the first time we ventured out to help support them, and these contracts have worked really well from a repair standpoint.
Hey,
Any questions?
Hey, Jenny, this is Hyde. question for Justin. When did we decide on 4 firms? Was it always the intent, or did you wait after that you get the bids to decide on 4 firms?
Our first experience with this, we only had 3 firms in our first the first contract that we had, and we found that one of those contractors was consistently not available, or they were very busy. It was J.B. Coxwell that at the time had a lot of fairly large projects for JEA, so they just did not have crews available. So adding the 4th was really just an attempt to make sure we have, if we do have to bid a project, that we can get multiple prices and have multiple contractors available. That was the thinking behind adding a 4th.
So what was the timing? Did we decide on 4 firms before the bids came in, or after?
It was before the bids, before this contract was advertised. We had put in the language that we would be selecting between 3 and 5 contractors for this contract. The original, I believe we only had 3 listed, as we were only going to have 3 in the original.
Okay. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
Thanks, Hi. Any other questions? And our entire wastewater group is there to present and answer any questions if you guys have any more. All right, I'll pass it back to Stephen for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 9?
I would so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 10.
All right, thank you. Through the chair, award number 10, this is a single source. I'm actually going to ask if Rodney will walk us through this. Save my voice for a minute. Rodney, do you mind taking us through? And I'll go back with the amounts.
Sure. Yeah. And I think I have the business unit on this one. It's a little more technically involved, so I'll ask them if William Donovan or Jamila wants to speak to the overall scope of work. If they're available. If not, I can kind of walk through it.
Rodney, this is Bill Donovan. Yeah, the scope of the work is to upgrade the Kennedy generating station control servers from GE Mark 6 to Mark 6E. That's for both turbines and the balance of plant. Also to upgrade the exciters from the EX2000 to the EX2100E, and the static starters from LS2100 to LS2100E. This is due to obsolescence of the existing systems. Parts are becoming scarce. GE is not making parts anymore, and upgrading will essentially allow us to buy modern repair parts. It also includes the HMI upgrades for starting the plants from the other CT sites. And it's sole source because this is already existing GE equipment, and it's upgrading to a newer version of the GE equipment.
Thank you. Ricky, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add. There was some discussion that that you and Ray had. Is there anything you want to clarify that we didn't already talk about?
No, basically they don't support the equipment anymore. This is to upgrade it. It's all proprietary stuff, so that's why it's with GE.
Okay, perfect. Any questions or comments from the committee? I think from a pricing, go ahead.
Yeah, Stephen. This question probably goes to Bill. Once the new systems are commissioned, How's the software security patches handled between JEA and GE?
That's a question I'm not really technically competent to answer. I think that we've already got these systems at other sites, and it would be handled the same way we're currently handling them.
There's no dependency on GE from a maintenance contractual perspective, right?
Not to my knowledge.
And we have the similar systems, you said, at other facilities already that we're maintaining?
Yes, they've already been upgraded at Greenland and Brandy Branch and Northside. I think the only remaining item to upgrade is Greenland static starters.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? All right, I'll pass it back to you, Stephen, for a vote.
Thanks, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 10?
Joe Arpaio, so moved.
All right, I'll take the motion from Ricky Erickson, a second from Joe Arpaio. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 11.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 11 was an invitation for bid. This is for our miscellaneous electrical items that we carry in JEA inventory stock. We were soliciting pricing for 567 items, just generally used for general electrical items ranging from meter locking rings to bushings to capacitor banks. We are recommending the award go to 4 different vendors. Stewart Irby is the first recommended awardee in the amount of $156,600.47. Annixter Inc. is recommended in the amount of $565,696.99. Gresco Supply Inc. in the amount of $171,047, and Inglewood Electrical Supply in the amount of $124,474.43. This is a 1-year award with 2 1-year optional renewals. JEA received 4 responses. We have chosen the basis of award is the lowest price per item, and that is how the award is broken up and is being presented to the committee today. Out of the 567 items, we only received pricing for 438, so a good chunk of them, but about 130 items, none of the vendors submitted pricing on. Mainly due to manufacturers not being able to lock in pricing for a year. So what we'll do for this next year is we'll spot buy those items during the use of this contract. They are also not items that are used on a regular, ordered on a regular basis, so it was less appealing for these vendors to bid on them. JEA is looking at about a 24% increase in pricing, and that is with us looking at all 4 vendors and choosing the lowest price per vendor per item. So we still are seeing the market increase quite a bit on these items, and that's why we are recommending only a 1-year award. We do have the optional renewals in place if we look at the market and feel like we want to try to continue going forward or rebid this in the next year, but the prices are fixed for the first year, so we won't have any adjustments going up and down. I'm going to stop there and ask the committee if you guys have any questions or comments. All right, I'll pass it back to Stephen for a vote.
Thanks, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 11?
I So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 13 since item 12 was deferred.
Thank you. Through the chair, this is our last award for this agenda. Award 13 is a single source award. This is for our Oracle e-business suite, Oracle databases, middleware, maintenance, and support. Oracle America Inc. is the recommended awardee in the amount of $2,948,902.07. We are only doing a one-year award. We do have an optional one-year renewal, but I believe that we are looking at currently just the best path forward and how we're doing some feasibility analysis to determine what we're going to do with Oracle as a whole. But we go quite far back with Oracle, mid-1990s, and then the CC&B licenses came in 2007. So we've been using Oracle for quite some time. This is on-prem, and I believe that the feasibility, and I'll let the IT group chime in, but is looking on whether or not we go to the cloud or we stay on-prem. So we're recommending that the maintenance and support just be for the 1 year. We continue to review. We've worked it out with Oracle instead of paying for the whole year in advance, like these typically are set up. These are going to be paid quarterly, so we can continue to review and see if there's licenses that we can take off that we don't need or that might be coming off. The group is constantly looking at that kind of stuff to make sure that we are only paying for what we need. So I will pause and see if the business wants to jump in and add anything to the conversation.
Good morning, this is Sandy. I think Jenny explained it very well, so I don't have a lot more to add, but I will just say that she did explain it. This is for this year while we are reviewing whether we do want to move to cloud, whether we want to do a lift and shift of everything, or whether we will move some one-off. So this is 1 year while we finish our exploration and see what's right for JEA.
Yeah, and if I can, Sandy, thanks for that, and Jenny, Brad Kroll here. One of the things that we're really going to be concentrating over the next year is looking at our strategic roadmap, as you kind of alluded to, around all of our different suite of products. Do we need to keep everything with Oracle, or can we break up some of the stuff? I mean, obviously with C2M on the docket right now to go live in May, there's no plan to retire that anytime soon, but the core financials and supply chain and asset management and the other areas, we may choose to look at potentially looking at another product, because EBS really doesn't have a ton of dependencies on those other platforms. So yeah, that's something we'll be looking at, and that, Sharon and myself have had discussions, and Stephen as well, moving forward. So.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate you jumping in. Any questions or comments from the committee members?
Hey, Jenny, I just have a question about the award amount for this year. It's for the full amount of the contract, yet I think we're going to run into fiscal year 23. Payments are going to be made in arrears. So I was thinking some dollars would be in 23.
You're right, especially if we're going to be paying quarterly. So Nathan, do you want to take a peek at that?
Sure, yeah, this
before
is
we
Nathan.
send it over?
Yeah, part of the conversation this year with Oracle, we do pay quarterly in arrears typically. So you are right. I believe the question or the inquiry was about paying the last payment in fiscal 23. So we've discussed that with budget as well, that we are working to have some conversation where we can get those payments all within fiscal 22. So our anticipation is being able to work with Oracle to be able to make that final payment in fiscal 22 rather than that last payment being in fiscal 23. So that's why we kept it showing all the payment going out this fiscal year.
Thanks, Nathan, for the explanation. If you don't mind, just adding that quick blurb in the thing, quarterly payments and orders, except for the last one.
Sure, yeah,
Oracle.
we can add a sentence, explaining that. Sure.
Thank you.
All right, I'll pass it back to Stephen for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 13 with amendments?
Or Fana, so moved.
And a second?
I will second.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. The entire agenda representing items 1 through 3, 5 through 11, and 13 are approved for November 18th, 2021. Is there any other business to come before the awards committee? Okay, seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
You feel better, John?